We've built a multi-level, transparent greenhouse, and right now, our tiny client is exploring the upper terraces. The goal is to merge high-end architectural design with a fully functional, self-sustaining botanical ecosystem. We are building a space that supports living plants while giving a small pet a complex, enriching environment to navigate. To pull this off, we need highly specific components. Looking at this workspace, you can see our core materials: custom glass-grade acrylic base plates for the foundation, specialized transparent interlocking bricks, and a selection of miniature sensors and succulents. Before a single brick is placed, there is a strict safety constraint. Every plant going into this build, from the moss to the succulents, must be verified as 100% non-toxic to hamsters. Building this requires balancing water, weight, and live biology inside a highly controlled structure. We are engineering a closed-loop microhabitat. Step 1 is establishing the structural frame. We lock down the acrylic base plates to our workspace and begin stacking the transparent vertical walls, ensuring the primary support columns are completely flush. With the first tier done, we perform a manual wobble test. We apply lateral pressure to the walls to confirm absolute rigidity before we commit to building upward to the second level. The design calls for overhanging terraces, which introduces our main structural hurdle, attaching cantilevered balconies that extend outward from the main frame without any underneath support. This diagram illustrates the physics at play. A dry balcony is light, but adding soil and water heavily increases the downward weight vector. To counter this, an interlocking brick configuration beneath the floor redirects downward force back into the vertical support wall. Mastering this load distribution ensures the upper terraces can hold heavy, wet botanical loads safely. If we get it wrong, the entire structure caves in on itself. Now we integrate the hardware that will keep this ecosystem alive. We embed 2026 generation smart temperature sensors directly into the structural columns to continuously monitor the internal climate. Next, we snake miniature irrigation lines through the hollow spaces in those same central columns, creating a hidden, self-watering network that reaches every level. This wireframe shows how we feed our client. A seat dispenser on the upper terrace projects a cone-shaped sensor field. When an object crosses it, a rotary valve triggers and releases a measured portion of seeds. We top off the hardware by lining the upper frame with an internal LED lighting system. They are programmed to simulate a natural, gradual day and night cycle for the plants and the hamster. Before we add the living elements, we run a full manual diagnostic. We trigger the motion sensors by hand to check the seed drop, and we run the LEDs through a rapid, fast-forwarded 24-hour cycle to verify the programming. Integrating these hidden layers transforms the build into a reactive system that monitors its climate, waters the plants, and handles every feeding. With the hardware locked in, we move to interior design. We start by carefully layering fragrant, live moss onto the soil beds of the cantilevered balconies. We then build miniature jungle gym components and anchor them into the soil. These serve as structural trellises for our climbing vines to wrap around as they grow. Because we have live plants sharing space with a small pet, we must align irrigation drip lines with absolute precision. The water must go exactly where the roots are and nowhere else. This overhead layout maps out why that matters. We have a designated wet zone for the moss, strictly separated from the dry zone pathway. If irrigation lines overlap, the walkway becomes slick and unsafe for the hamster. To finish the interior, we place small lounging platforms exactly under the overhead LED grow lights, giving the hamster warm, well-lit spaces to rest. Defining strict spatial zones guarantees the botanicals get the constant moisture they need to thrive, while the pet's walkways and resting areas remain completely dry and secure. It is time for the final pre-launch checklist. We verify that the temperature readouts are stable, the water lines are primed and drip-free, and the daylight lighting cycle is active. We open the bottom-level hatch and introduce our tiny architect to the space. It takes a moment at the brightly lit entryway to register the new environment and sniff the dense moss. Following the scent of the live botanicals, the hamster begins its upward climb. It navigates the transparent staircases, putting its full weight on the terraces, proving out the stability of our cantilevered engineering. Reaching the highest balcony, it crosses the motion sensors field. The rotary valve engages perfectly, dropping a fresh portion of seeds into the tray. The habitat is holding strong, the plants are watered, and the occupant is settled in. we've built a functional, multi-level ecosystem from scratch, and with the right planning, you can engineer